Feel free to say no early and often to things that are going to make the conference a draining instead of energizing experience for you, and anything that does not align with the specific objective that you set for yourself. Welcome to The PA is In, the show created by PAs for PAs, where codependency with your supervising physician is a thing of the past, optimal team practice is the future, and physician associate has taken the place of physician assistant as the professional title of choice. I'm Tracy Bingaman, and I'm obsessed with redefining what success as a PA looks like and what it feels like. Here you'll find the mindset shifts, systems, and processes I use to escape healthcare burnout and integrate my work into my life. Work-life balance is a myth, and an integrated life where you thrive professionally, not a balancing act, is the goal here. My mission is to help you to grow into a unicorn PA who loves their job, has abundant energy, time to spare, and work-optional financial freedom. The PA is in. I've never done this before, but I'm going to share something intimate, literally about my intimates on the podcast. After trying Vibrant Body Company's certified clean first layer bras and underwear, I threw everything else away. Life is too short to wear bras that don't fit. So schedule your virtual fit consultation with their master bra designer, Heidi. You get to Zoom, do live measurements, and find the exact right fit for you before ordering. Use the link in the show notes or the discount code Tracy15 for 15% off your Vibrant Body Company order. Make sure you try the thong and the semi-demi everywhere bra. You'll thank me later. With me, conferences are fun. Conferences are for learning, but conferences can also feel overwhelming. On this episode of The PA is In, I'm going to talk about how to get the most out of your next CME conference. Attending conferences is par for the course for practicing PAs, and in this post-COVID world, we are finally getting back to in-person meetings, which feels so darn good. Some people might think about an in-person CME conference and think, ugh, what a drain on our energy, time away from my family, time away from work and clinic. It is a necessary evil, so to speak, in order to obtain those CME hours for your current NCCPA certification cycle. Others could think about CME conferences and think, yeehaw, an opportunity to get away, explore a new city, change up the routine, learn, and connect with other PAs. This episode of The PA is In is a guide to get the most out of CME travel, conferences, in person or virtual, and how to do this in a way that meets your education, career, and connection goals. Let's get started. First, I want to talk about why we need CME. Conferences from regional to state, even up to a national level, are a common part of the way that we obtain those continuing medical education or CME hours. Certainly, they aren't the only way to get that required CME, but they are a super great and convenient, and dare I even say fun, way to do more than just learn. Alternative methods include things like virtual CME, which we will cover a little bit later in the episode, and approved category 1 activities that you can do PRN, such as reading the CME articles in JAPA and taking those post tests. To catch you up to speed, continuing medical education, we all need it. At the time of this recording, PAs specifically need 100 hours of CME every 2 years, 50 of which need to be Category 1 CME according to the current recommendations and requirements to stay current with the NCCPA and retain our individual national certification. For many people, the requirement of getting this CME sneaks up on them, and towards the end of their second year of that 2-year certification cycle, they're left scrambling to get enough hours by December 31st. You'll want to plan ahead and book those conferences, block your time, and put your CME on the calendar in advance so you aren't left scrambling at the last minute or cramming for CME as that deadline approaches. In this episode, I'm going to share 10 tips to help you to get the most out of your next CME conference and just maximize that learning and how to implement it as a part of your practice. So tip number 1 and this applies a lot to in-person CME, but also to virtual. Identify your objective. When you're traveling to a conference, the best way to get the most out of it is to decide exactly what you want to learn, do, or achieve as a part of your attendance. These objectives will typically fall into one of three categories: education, career, and connection. First up, education. Obtaining new information for the benefit of your patients, practice, and yourself. This typically checks two boxes: CME hours and improved knowledge that you can take back and apply in your current or future practice. Then there is career. Whether you're looking for a new position in your current location or specialty, or searching for a change in setting, or yearning to make big moves across the state or even across the country, if you are on the cusp of a career move, and you can clearly identify that and how conference attendance can help you on that journey, set that career connection, that networking, looking for that new job, seeking out that locums position as your specific objective of attending that specific conference. And third, connection. Despite being a part of a growing profession with increasing PAs year after year, when we are in the trenches practicing medicine, it can be pretty easy to feel like we're on an island. Conferences are a great opportunity to network and connect with other providers in your specialty, other PAs, other leaders, people who are doing research and great things across your specialty and across the country. You can work to network with those who are similar to you, or identify where you want to be and connect with possible mentors and leaders in your field that can help show you the way to get to where you want to go. When you clearly identify the main reason for attending a conference, that objective helps to inform the way that you plan your approach to what CME sessions you attend, what social activities you put on your calendar, how you approach the exhibition hall, and more. Tip number 2, plan your approach. Using your objective as a compass for where you want to go and what you want to achieve as a part of your conference experience, the next tip is to plan your approach and schedule accordingly. If you are hot on the trail of a new job, or considering locums work, or wanting to break into industry, you may find the exhibitors in the expo hall to be a better use of your time over specific CME sessions. Another contributing factor into this decision making is whether the sessions are available for replay virtually on the conference platform after the fact. This virtual access to CME sessions after the fact makes it easier to pass on certain CME sessions with plans to rewatch at a later date. A word to the wise: if you plan to review the CME sessions that are recorded at an interval, write it down. Block time on your calendar to work through the content, take the post test, and do the evaluation so that you can claim that CME. You don't want to miss the opportunity to get credit for the things that you're doing along the way. Along that line, tip number 3 is to maximize your CME. There are 2 ways that you can intentionally make the most of your actual learning as a part of your conference attendance. The first is by being focused, present, and attentive when learning. And the second is about being diligent about logging that CME appropriately and in the right place as you go. First, getting the most out of the sessions that you attend. If you're going to spend your precious time sitting in a lecture hall learning about literally anything, you want that to be time well spent. You want that to be a fruitful hour. The single best way to learn the most from any lecture, even those who are less vibrant and less engaging, is to eliminate your own personal distractions. Put your phone away in your bag. Don't even connect to the Wi-Fi. Take notes on paper with an actual pen, because you and I both know that pulling up that laptop or your tablet and having access to Wi-Fi could lead you down a rabbit hole of social media or general internet distraction. Wrap up each session with writing down 1 to 3 takeaway points that are applicable to your practice, things that you want to remember from this particular session. Write down a couple of action items for how you can integrate this knowledge into your practice of medicine when you return home.
You can only claim Category 1 continuing medical education credits for sessions that you personally attend or watch the re-recorded session. What's more, unless you complete the evaluation, get the certificate, and log those hours in your CME log inside of NCCPA, you don't truly receive credit for the learning that you did inside of that session. You need to create a system where you track what sessions you attended, do the evaluations as you go or as soon as they are available, and log all of that CME from your conference at one time inside of the NCCPA platform. Some conferences have the benefit of a live interface between their conference platform app or the way that you claim credit with them and the NCCPA, and they will log your credit hours for you on the back end. Ultimately, it's your responsibility to make sure that the work that you did, that the sessions that you attended, that the CME that you claim is appropriately reflected in your NCCPA log going forward. Tip number 4, be courageous. When it comes to networking, connecting, and building a supportive community around you, this often includes stepping outside of your comfort zone. Whether you are inviting those in your row to join you for dinner and drinks, seeking community and an opportunity to connect with other healthcare providers who just get it, or boldly walking up to a potential employer in the expo hall, change and connection both require courage. Courage is doing the darn thing, not without fear. It's not about being fearless. It's taking the step and doing the thing despite the existing fears that you have. Some of the best experiences I've had at conferences have come from the connections that I've made. Each time, either the person I was connecting with or myself said, "Hi, I'm so and so. Would you like to sit with us or eat dinner together or grab a drink or talk about your experience with X, Y, or Z?" That person had to be courageous. Kind of like asking someone on a date, but completely platonic. When you are the asker, you need the courage to battle that potential rejection. Spoiler alert, at things like this, they almost always say yes if they're available and interested in talking about the thing that you're suggesting. And when you are asked, you need the courage to pivot your plans or take the chance to connect with someone new who might enrich your connections and your network and help you to feel a little less alone in this world of medicine. Tip number 5 is to pace yourself. When my PA bestie and I conquered the AAPA National Conference this year, this tip is one that we could have used at the beginning of those CME days. Pace yourself. We came out of the gate hot. The first day I attended the early morning workout. We did 5 hours of CME, punctuated by the industry luncheon in the middle of the day, and we went to the welcome reception in the evening, followed by dinner downtown. All in all, except a 30-minute intermission in our hotel room to quickly change into our nighttime clothes, we were on the go for more than 14 hours on day 1 of the conference. Now, for you, that might be sustainable and a pace that you plan to maintain for the duration of the conference, but that was not true for us. That's going to depend on you and your season of life and how badly you want or need those CME hours. And again, goes back to that objective that you set before you ever set foot on that conference location. So we petered out a little bit. We absolutely didn't do an entire 5 hours of CME each day. And we started skipping the industry luncheon for a walk outside, a lunch on our own, some fresh air, and even a nap a couple of the days. The schedule options for CME, the opportunities for social networking events can be overwhelming, especially at a larger national level conference. Feel free to say no early and often to things that are going to make the conference a draining instead of energizing experience for you, and anything that does not align with the specific objective that you set for yourself. This could particularly happen if you're traveling with someone else or if you're traveling with your family and still want some time to explore or spend time with them outside the bounds of those scheduled industry sessions or scheduled CME sessions.
If you only take one sheet of paper to your next negotiation, let it be the PA Pay One Sheet. It's a tool designed to walk you through setting up the ideal outcomes, assessing the situation you are negotiating in, and it even includes a reminder of which negotiation skills you can use. Stop what you are doing. Download the one sheet, print it out, fill it out, and literally bring it to the table with you when you are negotiating next. It's designed specifically to work in healthcare settings wherever you are. You can use the PA One Sheet to get the best deal, the biggest raise, and to help your confidence walking into your next negotiation. Head to www.tracybingaman.com/one, that's ONE, to download your free copy of the PA Pay One Sheet and start prepping for your next negotiation today. It's linked in the show notes, but in case you missed it, it's at www.tracybingaman.com/ONE.
Tip number 6 for getting the most out of your next CME experience is to change it up. Being willing to change it up, that means like taking a look at the way that you've approached CME in the past and saying, could I be doing this better or differently? Could I pursue a different curiosity or a different type of venue? This includes being open to attending other conferences, other types of conferences. If you have always attended your local state chapter's conference, consider heading to the AAPA one year. Historically, attending specialty specific conferences for you, but you have the PANRE coming up. How about a board review course or general CME conference focusing on broadening your knowledge base and prepping for that upcoming recertification exam? The way that you've done things in the past might be great or it might be not so great. And as humans, we tend to be creatures of habit, and it's pretty easy for us to end up in a CME rut. You can give new conferences and experiences a try when you change it up. And if you don't like it, you can always go back to the way that you have done it in the past. Tip number 7 is about extracurriculars. One of the greatest parts of traveling to CME conferences is getting to see different places. There are CMEs in major cities. There are CME conferences on remote tropical islands. There are CMEs where you can take a wilderness adventure while you learn, and even conferences at ski resorts where you attend class in the early morning and afternoon and ski in the middle of the day. If you are a lover of skiing like me, those are very attractive conferences to you. I have had friends who attend CME on the beach because they love the opportunity to have their work pay for travel and accommodations at the beach when they love. They can choose to take their kids with them or leave their family at home to be able to relax and enjoy that time on the beach in between CME sessions. Don't forget, in your haste to network and log those CMEs, to carve out time to enjoy the city, to experience the sightseeing and touristy things, and be able to enjoy yourself and adventure a little as a part of your CME travel. Now, tip number 8 has to do with virtual CME. Although travel has opened up as of now and in person gatherings carry an entirely different vibe than those self paced or virtual CME conferences, those can also be a great option. Virtual CME offers increased flexibility. It gives you the opportunity to do CME on your terms and on your schedule. And if you are in a season of your life where travel and time away feels more overwhelming than exciting, getting those CME hours virtually is a great option for you. If you're going to elect for CME that is pre recorded, virtual, or self paced, here are 2 things that I would do to make sure that you get your money's worth. Number 1, this is super important. If you're doing virtual, you have to understand when that CME expires. How long do you have access to the content? And how long are the CME hours good for? In the process of getting credentialed for offering specifically AAPA backed CME hours, they have a deadline and an expiration. Just like those JAPA articles are good for a year after publication, the same is true for a lot of CME credit. So you want to make sure that you understand how long you have access to the content and also how long those CME credits are due for. You have to take and log the CME before that expiration. It does not have to expire after the term of your NCCPA certification. So knowing the duration of access and how long until that CME expires helps you with number 2, which is to schedule time on your calendar to learn the conference. This comes along with any conference that you attend that includes remote replays and access to any session that you have missed. These recorded sessions only count if you actually do them. So you're going to want to set aside time on your calendar, protected time outside of work and other commitments where you can use your PTO, specifically those CME hours, to complete those continuing medical education sessions. Tip number 9, don't procrastinate. I get it. You are busy. Sometimes we plainly and obviously procrastinate. Sometimes we spend all of this time researching and planning. We take action in searching, scheduling, and getting ready to get ready, but we don't actually do the darn thing. Procrastination, namely waiting until the end of the second year of that 2-year cycle when it comes to CME, is not serving you. You want to sit down now and create a plan for the remainder of your existing cycle. Know if this year your cycle is ending or if you are less than halfway or going to be halfway through your year. Take a look at how many hours you need and when your cycle ends. Do the 5th grade math and determine the rate at which you need to accumulate Category 1 and Category 2 CME hours and create a plan for when you're going to log those hours and learn the CME necessary to earn them. Tip number 10 is maybe my most exciting tip, or the one that is most interesting. Choose topics of service and interest. As we're talking about continuing medical education and improving both your knowledge base and your ability to care for your patients, my last tip is to choose topics of service to your career, your patients, and in areas that interest you. Whether you choose to do a deep dive on a specialty where you already work, a subset of patients that you'd like to care for in the future, or something outside of your comfort zone, I want you to choose CME things and topics that are areas of service and interest. Service. Are these topics going to serve your career and give you skills and abilities that you haven't already obtained elsewhere? Does learning these same things serve your current or future patient population? And interests. Are the topics, specialty, and coverage of the course of actual interest to you? Does it make sense based on what you do for work currently and also where you want your career to go? Don't wander through CME just working on merely counting up the hours. Being strategic about the topics and amounts of education you are getting in these various categories will serve you well over time. There you have it, my top 10 tips for making the most of your next CME conference. Remember your why, that reason that you went into medicine in the first place. Personally, I often feel extra excited about applying the knowledge I've learned and bringing it back to my patient's job and organization after attending a CME conference. I get it that CME travel and conference attendance might not be your top favorite thing. But if you're going to spend your time, energy, and days of paid time off doing it, you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. One last tip before I sign off, which would technically be number 11, but we will consider it a little bonus tip. Next time you attend a CME conference, I want you to mark your calendar for 30, 60, and 90 days out from the end of the conference. Book some time to review your notes. Evaluate if you have been effective in implementing the changes to your practice, your personal habits, and grade yourself on this implementation process. Have you actually really truly made changes in your clinical practice and the way that you conduct yourself based on what you learned at the conference? If not, I want you to create a plan to do it in the coming 30 days. If you already have, that's awesome. You should look for an opportunity to celebrate that success and seek ways to incrementally improve how you practice medicine going forward. Continuing medical education doesn't have to be a drag and can conversely be a huge benefit to you and your patients. I hope this podcast has helped you to change your mindset about conferences and given you some information on how to get the most out of those upcoming learning opportunities. I want you to make sure that you're subscribed so that you'll never miss another episode of The PA is In. That's all for today. This PA is out.
Congratulations, you've just joined an awesome club. By listening to a full episode of The PA is In, you are officially on the Unicorn PA team. Welcome aboard. What most team members do is they subscribe to the podcast because that allows them to automatically get the latest episode of the show. The life of your dreams exists on the other side of taking action. Keep making small shifts and keep getting better. Your life will improve, your career will soar, and you will have the confidence you need to create your own success. I will see you in the next episode. This PA is out.